and Isa Chansi, the White King, also in white. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, welcome, gentlemen. Let's begin with the Authority newspaper. Nnamdi Kanu's release, Ohaneze to beat Tinubu. Iwanya, who speaks there to stop insecurity in Southeast, says criminals use IPOB leaders' detention to destroy Igbo land. All right, other stories. Anambra to distribute palliatives at kindred level. That's on page 5. This Nigeria. AGF queried for signing 26 trillion naira financial statement without minister's input. The Senate says infraction contained in 2019 Auditor General for the Federation report. You may want to pick up and read up. After 8 years, CBN lifts forex restrictions on 43 items. You can check out the details on page 18 of the paper. Nigerian pilot, military discovers a safe haven of terrorists, kills 50, arrests 114. Sexual harassment there in red and bold. Federal government vows to deal decisively with perpetrators of sexual harassment in universities. Says sexual harassment serious criminal offense that must be dealt with decisively. And the Leadership Friday has this leading story: 8 years after CBN opens forex border to 43 banned items, manufacturing sector suffers setback on page 4. Why Olukoyede was appointed EFCC chairman, that's according to the presidency, but want to read up the details. The Daily Times, mixed reactions trail CBN's readmission of 43 items after 8 years. Negative implications for import substitution, local manufacturing. That's according to Professor Waleke. Tinubu replies Atiku in Supreme Court silent on Chicago certificate. Says PDP candidates appeal neither has legs nor wings. Okay, so we look at other stories. Daily Asset, mysterious thunder kills Catholic priest in Benue. Sad one there. Tinubu appoints Olukoyede EFCC chairman, Hama Joda secretary. The first news newspaper now. Forest restriction. CBN lifts ban on 43 items after 8 years, also making the paper. Second term agenda. We will deliver more roads and bridges to link more communities to Yanagoa. That's according to Dr. Doyediri. You can check out that. Standard Times, EFCC. Tinubu appoints Olukoyede as chairman, Hamajoda as secretary. CBN restores 43 items restricted from Forex, vows to clear Forex backlog. The Nigerian News Direct, Agbara Roundtable, VP Shetima guarantees industries steady power supply within 4 months. That's on page 4. And then also the Forex issue is leading the paper as well. Naira plunges in parallel market as Forex traders sell at 1045. That's 1,045 Naira per dollar. Tinubu wants Supreme Court to dismiss Atiku's petition, urges Apex Court to reject ex-VP's claims. That's the Daily Sun, bold one there. And then reps call for reintroduction of Price Control Board. Panel screens NDDC board nominees on page 7. Tinubu to Supreme Court dismiss Atiku's appeal. It's abuse of court process. That's this day newspaper above his nameplate. CBN lifts Forex restrictions on importation of rice, cement, palm oil, 40 other items. Okay, you can now get to know some of the items as captured by this paper. Then we have the Nigerian Tribune up next, also leading with the lifting of Forex ban by CBN on 43 items. Federal government approves over 260 emergency road repairs, work to gulp 217 billion naira, according to Omahi, as FEMA board gets nod for that repairs or palliatives, if you like. Okay, so other stories on the Daily Trust now. Tinubu breaches law as Olukoyede's appointment as on Olukoyede's appointment as EFCC chair, that's according to experts, no law violated, presidency replies. Many feared dead trapped in 3 tankers fire accident in Lagos. Not again. A sad one there. And a new Telegraph, Israeli-Palestinian crisis may lead to regional global war. That's according to GNI. Calls for immediate ceasefire, says UN, Arab League, others didn't do enough to end crisis that lingered for years. On page 2 of the new Telegraph, Scouts Nigeria, 5 to 10 years old children being recruited into cults. Right, Business Day, a move towards single forex rate. The CBN lifts ban on 43 items, Naira to appreciate on black market, according to analysts. How family businesses can scale to listed trillionaire firms. You may want to pick up that and find out how. The Guardian now, poor funding, low patronage rob Nigerian sports, a 500 billion naira revenue yearly is a big story on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. And then you have federal government talks tough on sexual harassment in varsities. Controversy trails appointment of lawyer Olukoyede there as EFCC chairman. Okay, so gentlemen, let's get in to look at the stories. Of course, we have one that is trending on all the papers. That's the issue of Forex and the lifting of ban by the CBN on 43 items, rice and others included. We also have the issue of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Ohaneze seems to be moving towards that direction to ask the president to release him, saying that would help to quell insecurity in the region. Then we have Olukoyede's appointment as one of the trending stories as well. Some knocks, some kudos, some experts saying, well, that there's a breach of law, even though the presidency has replied saying not at all. So, gentlemen, maybe we'll begin with this. And the issue of sexual harassment and the government talking tough on that. So which one do you think we should start with first? Chooks.
Yes, I think we may just start with the EFCC chairman's appointment.
Okay.
You know, President Tinubu recorded another first. You know, he started off with appointing Nyesom Wike as FCT minister. And this is the first time, you know, in a very long time that a Southerner will be FCT minister. So, and since the FCC's establishment, no Southerner has been appointed EFCC chairman. This is the first time a Southerner will be appointed, even though some have said that if it's a Southerner, must he be from the Southwest? The IG is from the Southwest, the head of the customs is from the Southwest. But then there are also those who said, who argue that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. That when, in fact, I met a Northerner who told me that they have no moral justification to talk about alleged nepotism, because that when Buhari was there, he did the same thing. In fact, the person is from the north and was to be given a particular appointment, but they felt that he wasn't a core Northerner, and he was denied that appointment instead. So that said, I've read arguments for and against the appointment of Oladipo Olukoyede as EFCC chairman. And I think it's neither here nor there. You see, when the law is made, it becomes subject to different interpretations depending on which side of the divide. Yes, the law says that anybody who is to be appointed chairman of EFCC must be a member of a security organization. You know, you understand? And when we checked, the new EFCC chairman was secretary of EFCC, and the law talks about 15 years cognate experience. So you also have to interpret what the meaning of cognate is, experience, because this has always been the problem with our laws. You know, our laws, when our lawmakers make these laws, they use very vague
ambiguity.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you're going to talking about impeachment of a governor or president, he said, what do you call it? This is what they normally use. They say gross misconduct. And gross misconduct, we know in some states, some deputy governors have been impeached for rearing is it chicken? They have poultry houses. You understand? So gross misconduct could be termed to mean that the man did not greet the governor or that he wasn't properly dressed. It's gross misconduct. So the law says 15 years experience, but person now post qualification is about 22 years as a lawyer. So I think the issue shouldn't be about the person, but then
the capacity.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think the bigger question also should be Bauer. You know, suddenly we heard that Bauer resigned his appointment as EFCC chairman. You know, he was first suspended for months on end, and then yesterday, for the first time, we're hearing that he was suspended. I mean, he resigned his appointment. Magu had suffered the same fate, and then only yesterday we had a particular one major general was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for stealing billions of naira. And then you ask yourself, is it the system that creates these monsters? Because a system that allows a serving general access 2, 3, 4, 5 billion, that system has to be overhauled. System that allowed a particular what they call it, the accountant general steal billions of naira. You know, so it's not because, you know, in life it's about pain versus gain. If you have a dog and the dog is hungry and there's fried chicken around the dog, it becomes very difficult to stop the dog from stealing the chicken and from fried chicken. So what you can do to prevent the dog from stealing the fried chicken is either to give the dog enough sufficient chicken, or to put a barricade, you know, between the dog and the chicken. So if you make somebody an EFCC chairman, you ask yourself, because it's the same problem, it's the same, you are IG, you are CP, same thing. How much is the salary of a commissioner of police in the first instance, or the IG of police? But these are people who go home every day with billions of naira because of the office, by virtue of the office they occupy. There's so much pressure on them. You know, do this for me, do that for me. Even not just them, governors, presidents, you understand, ministers. How much is the salary of a minister? But people will die. People will spend hundreds of millions of naira bribing to make the list, because it shows. I mean, it's because of the perks of office, what's involved. So we should, rather than focus on disappointment, we should focus more on service delivery and how occupants of such offices will be shielded from pressures of office. You know, if you check all the none of the EFCC chairmen so far appointed, you know, appointed before now, left intact with their honor intact. They were all disgraced.
So that's the point. Are we not supposed to start checking what exactly is the banana peel? What exactly is fueling? You know, the fact that you know, none of them lives to end the tenure peacefully and then bows out in honor, like Chuk said. And you want to come into this?
Yeah. Before I come to that, you see, in this country there is a commission we call the Federal Character Commission. Though I am one of those who have believed that that commission has lost its character. They have completely lost that character. I know that Nigeria is not, it's a multi-tribal and multi-religious country. When we were attacking or criticizing the former president that he concentrated his major appointments in a particular region, especially during the security, his security apparatus, Nigerians were saying that when a country calls for a security meeting, for example, under Buhari, you can hardly, it is obvious that a particular language will be spoken, their Hausa language, because almost everybody on that edition was from the House of Fulani North. And we all criticized it. And if you look at President Bola Tinubu, he has also followed that trend. Let us look at the country's economy, for example. If there is something like a presidency calling for an economy, you will see that a particular language will also be spoken. Now let us go also to the judiciary. We have seen that the Attorney General of this country is from the Southwest. The Chief Justice of this federation is from the Southwest. The ICPC boss is from the Southwest. Now EFCC is from the Southwest. What are we doing in this country? when you criticize A and B comes, he did not make the correction. I think we have not learned anything. So as we are talking right now, economy, judiciary,
security,
even security, domiciled in a particular zone of this country. Are we going to get good governance there? The answer is no. I asked the question and I answered. The answer is no. That is why we have a Federal Character Commission that has lost its character. These offices should be shared. I am not against the point. I know. Look at a lawyer of decades, of at least 2 decades plus. Yes, but are we saying we cannot find somebody else from another tribe? What are we talking about? This government is government of the people for the people, but it is not government of a particular people or a particular region. You see, I join those who condemned all these appointments. Let us spread this. What is in A is in B and is in C is in D. Even in minor tribes like in this, we call like them, you can also get those who can do this job. Why not spread this? Why the chief is talking about breaking the jigs? Yes, he has at least in FCT, in EFCC, and Works Ministry. But what we are saying now is, if you call for a cabinet meeting, if you call for maybe economic council, what are we? Does it mean there are no other people? President Tinubu should please, if he has come with this his renewed hope, let him renew the hope of Nigerians.
Okay. Let other regions also have see the hope
of Nigeria
and be renewed.
The
issue of breaching the law is one of the issues that is being raised on this paper, by the appointment. There's a certain aspect of the act establishing the EFCC which says that the person must have attained a particular position, in any security.
No, it's Assistant Commissioner of Police.
Assistant Commissioner of Police.
Equivalent.
Okay, or in any government agency.
So you ask yourself, if you see, like, I'm a journalist, as well as a journalist. If we were lawyers, we would have been SAN long before now. I mean, that's the truth. Because it's equivalent of. So I'm not holding brief for anybody, but I mean, you see, I keep saying it here time and again that our laws must not be ambiguous. We should insist, if we want the EFCC Act amended, it's okay that for you to be an EFCC chairman, you must be a serving member or retired member of the police force, or of what do you call it, of the military. I mean, it should be very, very clear. I say this again because most times these laws are made and then they are open to various interpretations. Like this issue of federal character. What is the punishment for the president who appoints everybody from his village? These are the issues. A few days ago, President Tinubu appointed several media aides. A landmark appointment, appointment, if you allow me to use that word. And they made a very funny excuse. They gave very funny excuses that they wanted federal character, federal spread in the appointment. And I chuckled. I said, at what time did President Tinubu begin to think about federal character? If you look at security, he's chief of army staff. He's from the southwest Yoruba. His ADC is Yoruba. His commander is Yoruba. He's the IG of police is Yoruba. His attorney general is Yoruba. Supreme Court, the CJN is Yoruba. Now you're talking about customs, Yoruba. Because you see, I don't have a problem with that. I speak Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo very fluently, so I don't have that problem. But it becomes a problem if you don't see yourself as one of them. And this also happens in the States. We have people, when they become governor, they turn their villages become the state capital. We know of a particular governor who never slept in his capital of his state throughout the time he was governor. He was always going back to his village because for him, that town did not deserve to be state capital. So what they do when they become governor, they open campuses of universities in their villages and so on. And this has led to so much pressure on people, agitations for them to produce the governor or the president. Because the last president, in my opinion, that we had, a pan-Nigerian president was Obasanjo. Obasanjo didn't care where you were from. Under Obasanjo, the most influential aide was Igbo and Yoruba. You understand? So he didn't care where you were from and it's also a function of one's childhood. Because we are what we are. Our society defines us. So you see somebody who was born and raised in Onitsha, for instance, schooled in Nsukka, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He will see the world from an Igbo perspective. You understand? So, but if you are like Obasanjo, he like Azikiwe, people like Ojukwu, they stayed in different parts of the country. So it helps you have a better Nigerian view of Nigeria.
Okay, Ezecha, you wanted to say something about the law and...
You asked, there was a second leg that you were talking about why all the FCC chairmen have left in disgrace without honors.
Including the one woman that was there.
Including, Farida. You see, the problem we have in this country is not about who is where. The problem is, provided this country is still deep in corruption. Forget about this one, we are calling them EFCC. There are also shady things they do in EFCC. So, and when, if you talk about Bawa, the man that Bawa took over from, for example, Magu, we saw the intrigues that ensued over his Senate confirmation and non-confirmation. How many times was he rejected by the Senate? Yet he stood there. Some said as acting, he can act as long as he wants. You see, because before his rejection, something must have prompted his rejection. There could have been a report, there could have been a complaint, there could have been but those who believe that he is our man, they filed the Senate and allowed him to be there.
And in some cases, you can't differentiate whether it is corruption or political vendetta.
Yes,
Does that not happen as well?
What we are saying here is, even inside EFCC, there were also allegations when he was removed of corrupt, sharp practices. A panel was set up. That panel report, where is it? Till today, it has died. Bawa came in. The same thing happened.
By the way, Bawa is still in detention, right?
Still in detention.
They say
he resigned from there.
They say he resigned. Bawa came in. The same thing. The problem we have...
And has anyone cited the resignation letter, maybe?
No, the president...
You see, until we stop, we nip this called corruption. It is spread in every... These appointments we are talking about, lopsided appointments, where some people will soon start to do, it is also part of corruption. That is why, until this thing is arrested, no EFCC chairman will live without being disgraced.
All right.
Let me...
You want to talk... We'll see how other story
it's only about EFCC. It's all the agencies.
Yes.
Because there's so much pressure. You see, become the head of an agency today, you have 1,000 calls that very day. In fact, you have to change your number because people accuse office owners of changing. And if you don't change your number, you'll be able to sleep. People will call you 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And if you've got 1,000 calls a day, 999 calls, chances that 999 calls.
Are looking for one help or the other.
Exactly. And so we make them demigods. So it's not actually their own fault. We promote them, and translate them into gods. And that's why poverty, with so much poverty in the land.
Please, let's look at this issue. Nnamdi Kanu release or Haneze Tinubu talk.
No, it's right. I said it here on Monday. If you look at, I think yesterday, my IPOB's lawyer spoke about what the courts, the court has released several IPOB sympathizers, in the past few days. Very, very interesting. I spoke about Sunday Igboho's release in Benin Republic, because look at what's happening in the Middle East, in Israel and Palestine. Israel is about has 1 billion times more military power than Hamas. But look at the kind of damage Hamas inflicted on Israel. It's shocking because even the so-called intelligence of the state of Israel failed them.
Was it filtrated?
No, it failed them. And even for like 12 hours, Israelis were helpless because as Hamas was going from house to house killing, it took the Israeli government 12 hours to respond. So what does it show you? It shows you that any man who has nothing to lose will do anything. Hamas terrorists knew that they were going to be killed anyway, but they didn't care. They wanted to inflict damage. And we all know what's the population of Israel? About 10 million. In a day, you kill about 250 Israelis That's about the highest death toll in recent history of Israelis. So what am I saying? Come back home. These guys, Nnamdi Kanu, since you ask yourself, his imprisonment, has he helped the Nigerian cause or has he further worsened the problem in Nigeria? Because I have thought that when the Court of Appeal released him, the government would have latched in on that, pretended that they were being controlled, and then so that we see, because you try something, it doesn't work. Try something else. I'm from the southeast. I'm Igbo, and I know the pains people in Igbo land, and several unscrupulous politicians are benefiting from this crisis. INEC says how many million people are eligible to vote in Imo? 2 point something million, and I chuckle. It's a ploy by INEC to steal money. I'm sorry to use that word, to misappropriate money. If Imo records 100,000, 50,000 votes, I'll gift you money. Because people are scared. There's voter apathy because people are saying, even the one they voted, what is the result? So those people in position of authority in the southeast, particularly some states in the southeast, they are now cashing in on that insecurity. They formed a Bubago, they formed this. And
even the Bubago, I don't know how far that works.
You see, in Imo, in the southeast.
And then the fact that even
we talk of
yes, you talk about that.
States.
Yes.
Even the fact that
Imo and Ebonyi.
You see, let's not talk about all these things. We know Imo is 5 states. You can only hear about the Bubago
in 2 states.
And those 2 states belong to a particular political party.
Yes.
But let's not talk about because if
we don't do it, we may not live here.
The thing is this: federal government.
Nnamdi is still being held, but we also have someone outside still controlling even the so-called IPOP and all that.
Who is financing Simon Ekpa?
So
this is a question to ask ourselves. Who is financing Simon Ekpa?
Federal government should hearken to the voice of reason and release Nnamdi Kanu. Voice of reason.
Should there be conditions or unconditionally?
See, if they don't release Nnamdi Kanu, in fact, the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu there have been no gain. Rather, it has continued to inflict losses, injuries, pains on the people. Like Mohanese said, everything that happens in the southeast, every killing, people will say it is IPOB, it is ESN. How sure are we that it is IPOB and ESN? Many other people, many other agents, even allegedly, some politicians have taken this opportunity to cause havoc in the state. Like Chuk said, INEC may have their record 2.4 million as at the time of the collection of the TVC. But let us wait and see how many will come and vote. The reason, just 2 things: insecurity, and they are not sure that their votes will count. That is just it. Insecurity in the south, especially in Imo State, is nothing to write home about. Is it not when you are alive that you will come out and vote? Must everybody, that if all the people, if this killing continues, these politicians that are spearheading this, that are instigating this, who will they rule? Who will they govern? You will govern those who are alive, not those who are dead.
Yes, indeed. I guess we just have to leave this here. It's an ongoing conversation, and we hope this time the government will listen, because this is not the first time that Ohanese and, of course, some top political bigwigs in Igbo land have also tried to appeal to the presidency on this matter. Gentlemen, thank you for your time with us. Izocha Nze, the White King, and Chuks Akuna have joined us to analyze the stories as captured by the front pages of the papers today.